Next up on the Cosmic News Network, First Contact with Joshua Pert.
Good morning, Earthlings. Good. How you doing today?
Good.
How you doing today? Welcome to First Contact Radio. Welcome to First Contact Radio. To talk about all these things we're talking about is because in life, everything is energy. Every single thing that's out there.
Yo, it's First Contact with Joshua Poet. He's the man on the mic, just in case you didn't know it. Covering news from all around the globe, from the weather and space to UFOs. He'll talk politics and make you open your eyes. Conspiracy theories and government lies. They'll dig it all up and try to find the proof. Cause it's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio. We have
It's time to demand the truth. It's time.
First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand
First
the
Contact
truth.
Radio. We have arrived. First Contact Radio.
It's time to demand.
Good morning, Earthlings. How you doing today? Welcome back to First Contact Radio. Let's get into things. We have a lot to discuss for today. So there's a lot going on astrologically. Today is the 23rd. There's this alignment I'm going to show you momentarily called the Grand Cross, Cardinal Grand Cross, which is taking place. And it's anyway, I'll get to that momentarily here. In that, what we have is a sun sign in Taurus and a moon sign in Aquarius. So we know of Aquarius as that, when we think of the age of Aquarius, we're thinking of the futuristic ideals of what life has in store for us. It's an air sign, so it's the ideals of our mind. It's how we put those in action, trying to take those ideals and bring them forth from the mind, express them out into the world. We have Taurus, the bull, which is an earth sign. That's our sun sign. It's a sign that is all about appreciating the physical, appreciating the earth, while at the same time connecting in with spirit, because that is the understanding that the earth is the way it is because spirit is the way spirit is. Does that make sense? Think about it. See what you make of that. Okay, today we've got a square going on between Mars and Pluto. We also have a square going on between Jupiter and Aquarius. These squares, remember, are like lessons. Pluto right here is deep transformation, deep transformative energy. Whenever that's going on, that means that there's a block that needs to be removed, a lesson that needs to be learned. So something between Mars and our transformative abilities and energies within us. Remember, Mars can be passion or it can be aggression, just depending on how it is channeled. If it's not channeled and bottled up, it becomes very aggressive. So just something to keep in mind as you go throughout the day. There's a lot of that edgy energy in the air. We also have a lesson coming up between Saturn and Aquarius. So we have these ideals, these things in our mind, and they're going to expand outward, but we want to pay attention to how we're going to use them. We want to discipline our energies on what we're doing with these different manifestations around us and how we use the energies. So, it's one thing to expand the way in which we look at things, but sometimes that can end up being a lot of daydreaming. So we want to move past the daydreaming. We want to find some practical use of it. That's where the Taurus, the bull, comes in, finding the practical use for the energies at hand. Okay, so let's move from here. Let's check out this Cardinal Grand Cross. See what this means and how this affects us in our life. Here's what it looks like. Okay, that's what we're looking at right there. Okay, so we see Mars, Uranus, we have Pluto, we have Saturn, or Jupiter, excuse me. Okay. Now it says here's the Cardinal Grand Cross for those who appreciate a visual representation. It is very powerful this week as it reaches exactitude. It is formed by Mars in Libra, right here, Jupiter in Cancer, right here. Pluto in Capricorn, right there. And Uranus in Aries, right here. Okay, so there's our square. So right here. Okay. Uranus in Aries, Jupiter in Cancer, Mars in Libra, Pluto in Capricorn. Okay. Basically, Mars has added an extra corner onto the Uranus Pluto Jupiter T-square that has been around on and off these past few months. A grand cross is a rare astrological event that augurs a time of incredible energy and potential. It is both destructive and creative. It destroys to clear a path for the new to be born. A grand cross always corresponds to a specific astrological quality, and this is a cardinal cross. It means that its energy is that of a new beginning. It is here not to preserve what exists or to bridge the gap between the present and the future. No, it is here to manifest the future right now, leaving nothing of the old in its wake. At times it can be brutal energy, which we experience as a lightning strike in our lives, setting fire to everything we hold dear. There is violence in this configuration, but it is the violence of birth, the battle for life, the pains that augur a whole new beginning. The destructive quality of this cross is not destruction for suffering's sake, but for liberation's sake. The more we can trust this to be true, the better we'll be able to stand firm in the face of its mighty power and allow it to act within our lives as it must. The cardinal cross is with us throughout this week, and we can call upon its power to remove the obstacles in our path. It may be best not to be too specific about what these obstacles are, though, because the cross may have its own notion of what needs to be loosed in our lives, and to be honest, it knows better than we do, no matter what we might think of the time. Okay, so there you go. This link's available if you want to find out more, reading about these. Okay, but let's continue on. I have some more about this. Here's another way of looking at it. Basically the same sign you saw before, but without the big astrology grid behind it. It says by mid-April, the fourth planet Mars will enter the mix, creating what is called the Grand Cross in astrology. Two planets are 180 degrees apart, and all four planets form a harsh right 90-degree angles to each other like so. This apex appears on April 23rd, when these four cosmic players will be stationed at exactly 13 degrees. Sure to be an eventful day, a breaking point of some kind. The rising energy will be impossible to ignore, and it can force us into action, ready or not. But breaking points are also turning points, and this is the hidden gift of the Grand Cross. In truth, the tension will be brewing for more than a year. Pluto and Uranus have been in a 9-degree square off and on since 2012 and will continue through 2015. Okay. So let's go move on. One more page here. Here's another bit of information. An incredible cardinal grand cross occurs in April 2014. Astrologer Susan Miller says of it, April's so scary that I'm giving classes on it. But does this cosmic pattern really warrant the hype? I have done some research in the past. Cardinal squares and T-squares from 1 AD. In the previous weeks, I have covered each of the planetary alignments individually, but on April 23rd, it all comes together. After looking at the history, the theme seems to be one of powerful dynasties taking power. Starvation, fear of the end of the world, and currency losing value. I think the cardinal T-square of 1344 is particularly significant since it shows the beginning of the fake money ruling the world and the elites holding power over the masses by creating debt. The cross also fell around 13 degrees at the cardinal sign as it does this year. Okay. I thought it was very important only to research cardinal crosses to get a clear idea of its specific energy. Cardinal signs are natural leaders and inhibitors. The mode is pioneering, conquering, and carries a great force. That cardinal power battery also contains catalysts of change, Uranus and Pluto, combined with military might, Mars and Jupiter. Then we really are in for life-changing events of epic proportions. In the natural zodiac, the cardinal cross covers the four fundamentals: ourself, Aries, Libra, partner Libra, career, Capricorn, and home life, Cancer. important transits that occur within the cross will change the very foundation of our lives. Those who get this falling in their angular houses will feel the force of it the strongest. Okay? So that's what's going on. There's certainly more to it to read, but it's a powerful sign going on. It involves the planets of expansion, the planets of sudden change, planet of Mars energy, force, positive or negative, just the way it's channeled, this powerful life force energy. And we have something just definitely to be aware of as we go through the day. Keep in mind the edginess that's out there with this. You may have noticed people are a little bit edgy these days. Sometimes they don't know why. Well, this could be part of the reason why. So just as you go throughout the day, just kind of have your awareness about you. So you just pay attention to the situations at hand. Okay, the numerology for today is number 7. Here's how we got to that number. We got the 4 plus the 2 and the 3, 25, and then the 2014 all equals a 16. 1 plus 6 equals a 7. Again, this is a process called a theosophic subtraction, reducing the numbers till they come to one common number, a single number. In this case, 7. 7 isn't just lucky, it's also spiritual, intellectual, analytical focused. Remember, this is the tarot card that deals with Cancer, planetary or the astrological alignment of Cancer. Cancer is water, and it deals with our emotions. Okay? And the tarot cards, the card that represents this, is the card of the Chariot. The card of the Chariot is a warrior. Okay? Warrior goes through life dealing with all of the emotions, but the warrior has the armor to protect itself from the emotions. Okay? It's a male, which represents a conscious mind. Doesn't mean you have to be a man to be a warrior. You just need to use your conscious mind, because you're using your conscious mind to move through life. You got the 2 Sphinx, the opposites of life, riddles, but by allowing spirit to enter our vehicle, and that vehicle is then allowed to drive forward in life, all the questions are answered because we are allowing spirit to dictate and help guide us along the way. Okay? So let's move on. That's our astrology there. So we can see where the Chariot is right out here, from understanding to severity. And we have the moon sign of Aquarius down here, making its way from our emotions, victory, to foundation. Of course, April right here, Taurus, Hierophant. Okay, so that's where we're at. Just looking at this, remember, circles are classrooms. These are the paths between the classrooms. And all we do is we just learn to go from classroom to classroom with the lessons involved. Current moon phase is a waning moon, 35% full. Waning means we're moving back down to the new moon. This week's sky, as soon as twilight fades out, look moderately low in the west-northwest for the little Pleiades star cluster, the size of your fingertip at arm's length. How much later, though, the spring can follow the Pleiades before they're lost in the sunset? I don't know. Guess we'll find out. Okay, so that's what we're looking at there. Tomorrow, this is what we're going to see tomorrow. 4th as we wake up. The Mayan Oracle, we're at a 6-tone day. 6 tones are called the rhythmic tones. Rhythmic tone of equality. We have the eagle, guided by the eagle, with our enlightenment as our like-minded energy and our survival instinct as the challenge. And the hidden power is the world bridger. Okay. Altogether, the phrase for today is I organize in order to create balancing mind. I seal the output of vision with the rhythmic tone of equality. I am guided by my own power double. Space weather. Solar wind is currently 417.7 kilometers per second. And the planetary K-Nix is 2. Nothing much in the way of the coronal holes here. M-class flare possibility at 50, dropping down to 40 in the next 24 to 48 hours. X-class dropping down as well, going from 5 to 1. Geomagnetic storm activity dropping. The higher latitudes, it stays steady at about 30%. We also have a shower storm here of meteors, Lyrid meteor shower caused by debris from the Horrit Thatcher is subsiding during the showers. Peak on April 22nd. Dark sky observer saw many as 15 meters per hour, so this is going on. And last but not least, here on our Jewish calendar, today we're at the 23rd. 23 Nisan is the name of today. Okay, the Passover time has come to an end. Now we're just regular counting until the next time comes up. Alright? Next holiday comes up, holy day. Alright, that gets us started. UFO news is up next.
This is the UFO News with Joshua Poet.
Alright, Dirk. Thank you very much. First story comes to us from Canada. 3 UFO incidents over 5 days in Canada. UFOs over British Columbia, Canada, have been documented photographically since the early 1930s. In April 2014, 2 videographers residing within the southwestern region of the province undertook a road trip between Okanagan and the city of Vancouver to record 3 UFO incidents over a 5-day period of time using multi-sensor camera arrays. So what we have here is an 8-minute video here, and check this out. Let me just kind of jump ahead here. Again, when you enlarge the screen, you see it much better right there in the middle of the screen here. Okay, and remember they had multiple sightings over 5 days, 3 sightings. There's another one. There we go. There it is again. Alright. But watch the whole video. It's 8 minutes. That way you get the full gist of what it is and how they saw them. We're going to go along over to Wales. Presbyterian resident has his own close encounter with an unidentified flying object this week. Presbyterian is a seaside resort town and community in Wales. It is located in the Irish Sea coast to the east of Rhuddlan. Okay, Gordon Burnell, 67, spotted a UFO hovering above his garden on April 15th, Marion Road, when he was looking up at a buzzard. He believed the object to be heading east. He said, "I was very shocked to see this cylinder shape just below the high clouds. It was not moving. It then seemed to rotate, showing silver and black, then stopped again. I watched this for some time, just amazed at what I was seeing. I was at my own home at the time. The object had no sound or smoke or lights. It flew off into the blue section of the sky and went so high it vanished quite slow. Looking how high the object was, I would say it must have been over 50 feet long. Police confirmed the reporting sighting at 3:20 a.m. and have passed on the information to the National Police Air Service. This is not the first time Gordon has spotted unusual activity in the skies. However, in '68, he was visiting his friends in High Christworth near Glossop, Derbyshire, when the 2 gold objects shot over the top of his car." Okay, so there you have that one there. There's our object. Next, we're going to go over to the moon. The idea of what's going on the moon. There's new evidence being presented, about photographs saying that what we saw up on the moon was proof, or the photographs they took are proof that we landed on the moon. Well, here's an image that kind of shows photoshopping was done. Look at this. You can clearly see photoshopping around there. I found this photo and was confused as to why space didn't look like space. No stars, gases, or anything. Nothing like what I would see when I was looking at a live space station cam. The LEM, also perfectly lighting, which is odd for space. I just added a little object to see if I could catch any UFOs in the background near it. However, when I did, I found that the LEM had been photoshopped, superimposed upon the solid background. I'm not sure what to make of this. It could be because NASA wanted the picture perfect moment and faked it. What do you think? Check out the video I made, but changing settings to full screen and HD. Okay. There we got a nice video, 7 minutes, 30 seconds long. When she goes over all of this, cuts it out. Okay. So, check it out. But, it's a big debate. Did we really go to the moon? It's been a debate for quite some time, and there are those who say we did, and there are those who say we don't. And it's been a constant battle back and forth, and those who say that we did go, well, they're continuing to put out information just to kind of back up their claims, just to back it up to make sure everybody knows we went. And yet there are things and evidence that they present that really seems kind of uncertain. So now the latest stuff is they're saying that there's a picture that the Chinese rover took of the same objects on the moon that one of the NASA missions took, and this is proof that NASA went there. What would really prove it is if that Chinese rover would just take an image of some of the space debris that we left up there. The lunar modules up there. I mean, take an area, take a picture of the flag that's still up there. We would then know, but they haven't done that as of yet. Will they? I don't know. They're just taking a picture of something that we supposedly took a picture of, and well, that's supposed to be evidence that we went. Okay. This one here is kind of UFO news. This fits in the unidentified category, definitely. Loch Ness Monster. Thought I'd show you this because this is an image that's being shown here. Here's what it looks like to use Apple Maps. And look at the creature in the Loch Ness, Scotland. I'm using iMac, and Apple Maps comes free in all Apple devices. The creature does have left and right fins as well as a massive tail. Bigger, two times bigger than a house. The only way to see the creature is above during full daylight. Yes, I believe the creature exists, but I believe it to be an alien creature brought here long ago. The discovery puts us one step closer to the truth. Okay. That's pretty fascinating, huh? All the imagery that we've seen about the Loch Ness Monster, and to see that there. Here's a 4-minute video of Scott and how he did this. Anyway, thought that would fit in to our stories. Okay, now, here we go to a day in UFO history. Multiple pilots witnessed a large object near Guernsey, United Kingdom. This goes back to 2007. UFO sightings are being investigated by the Ministry of Defense. 2 experienced airline pilots on separate flights saw something up to a mile wide off the coast of Alderney on Monday afternoon. Surprisingly, Jersey radar equipment did not pick up the object, although an air traffic controller said that he had received simultaneous reports from the Aragey and Blue Island pilots. Aragey's captain, Ray Bauer, said he saw the object during a flight from Southampton. He spotted a bright yellow light 10 miles west of Alderney, while his plane was about 30 miles from the island at 4,000 feet. It was very sharp, thin yellow object with a green area. It was 2,000 feet up and stationary. I thought it was about 10 miles away, although I later realized it was approximately 40 miles from us. At first I thought it was the size of a 737, and that is just slightly smaller than a jumbo jet, but it must have been much bigger because of how far away it was. It couldn't have been as much as a mile wide. As he continued his approach to Alderney, Captain Bauer saw a second identical object further to the west. It was exactly the same but looked smaller because it was further away. It was closer to Guernsey. The sightings come days after reports that scientists have discovered outside our solar system an Earth-like planet capable of supporting extraterrestrial life. Can't explain it. At first I thought it might have been a reflection from this refinery in Guernsey, but that would have disappeared quickly. This was clearly visual for about 9 minutes. Sightings happened at about 3 p.m. Captain Bauer has flown the commercial planes for about 20 years. Said he described the object to air traffic controller and filed an incident report. As I got closer, it became clear to me that it was tangible. I was in two minds about going towards it and having a closer look, but decided against because of the size. I had to think of the safety of the passengers first. Okay, there we go. More to the story, but I'm moving on. Okay, here's a support group that you might be interested in if you live in the UK or look to travel out that way. Support group for people who claim to have been in contact with beings from other worlds is holding a conference to enable people to come forward with their experiences. The Anomalous Mind Management Abductee Contactee Helpline, AMMACH, is holding its conference in Hastings at the end of May, featuring speakers who say they have been in touch with aliens and researchers specializing in the field. The organization is run by Joan Summerscales from Hastings, who said it's important for people to talk to with these experiences to someone to talk to. She said we aim to provide a safe platform for them to tell their stories without ridicule and fear. I do not believe everything I hear, but if something strange happened to us, we would want to have the ability to tell somebody about it without fear. Ms. Summerscales said that she has started the project 3 years ago and has been contacted by 1,500 people who have experienced alien contact. The contactees, those who make conscious contact with extraterrestrials, and abductees, those who are taken to alien craft, come from all over the world. Okay. And last, here is a episode for you to watch. This is Ancient Aliens. Mike Barr of Ancient Aliens is a self-described born-again conspiracy theorist. His first book, Dark Mission, The Secret History of NASA, was a New York Times bestseller in 2007. Here he describes anomalies on the moon that suggest somebody might have been there in the past and might be there to this day. Listen as he describes the wealth of photographic evidence and suggests that there is much more activity in the moon than we are being told. Are we looking at a secret space program, an alien bases, or the remains of long ago human activity? Alright, video links available. Check it out, see what you think. Again, the moon issue is going to be an issue, I'm sure, for quite some time. And there you go. That's our UFO news. I'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Another alien visitor claimed that his race had been looking in on us for centuries, and that they had in fact influenced the course of human history in some rather critical and startling ways.
Listen up. I am myself and I am someone else. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't sound so crazy to you if you've seen what I've seen. Corridors of time, dimensions of space, traveling through the universe, from place to place. Don't arouse suspicion of a membrane gone insane. Everything is possible, just gotta see with an open mind.
Alright. Let's continue on. So I thought today we'd take a journey into Hebrew, to the Hebrew language. So I have a couple of sites here in this regard to kind of get us started. This first one here we've checked out briefly as we were looking over our information on the Hebrew and Christianity. This is HebrewForChristians.com. says this page provides a rudimentary overview of the history of the Hebrew script and by no means intended to replace a careful study of paleolinguists and other specialists in the field of ancient writing systems. For scholarly research, please see the links page. Okay, Hebrew is the name given to one of the world's oldest languages. The name derives from Eber, son of Shem, ever meaning region, across, beyond, and derives from the root means to pass over. Shem, called the father of all the sons of Eber, and therefore Hebrew descendants are called Semites. In the scriptures, Hebrew is used as an adjective to describe Jews who are from the other side, for example, of the Euphrates River. Modern Hebrew is called Yirvit. Genesis 31:47, Laban and Jacob referred to a heap of stones in their native speech. Laban uses the phrase Yegar Sahaduda, which is Aramaic, but Jacob uses Gal-Ed, which is Hebrew. It says the Garden of Eden, or Gan Eden, is known as the first paradise, location for the first origin of man, man-made. B'Tselem Elohim, in the image of God. The image included the ability to use a God-given language. The theory that an original source language was given in Eden called Edenics. Man was exiled from Eden, however, and began to be dispersed upon the face of the earth. The great flood of Mabul effected judgment upon the antediluvian clans for their constant wickedness before the Lord. The only survivors were the direct descendants of the clan of Noah. But Toldat B'nai Noach, or the generations of Noah, or the table of 70 nations as listed in Genesis, indicates some of the earliest migration of clans. Noah's son Shem is also called the father of all the sons of Eber. This Toldat is given in Genesis 11:1. Tower of Babel, or Migdal Bavel, located on the plains of Shinar of ancient Mesopotamia, is historically identified as the original site of ancient Babylon. Perhaps the tower was a form of idolatry. Ziggurat means to unify the ancients. Abraham, a descendant of the clan of Eber, was called by God from Ur to the Chaldees, around 1800 BCE, to the land of Canaan. The language of Canaan at that time has been called Proto-Canaanite, the parent language of the dialects of Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, Jebusites, Perizzites. In relation to the Hebrews, Pro-Canaanite script may also be called Keta Ivri. During the 400 years that Abraham's clan was in Egypt, the Hebrews still spoke a Canaanite variant. For example, Joseph's brother in Egypt. See Genesis 42:23. An article of Orthodox Jewish faith is that God originally revealed the Torah to Moses using Ketav Asheret from Ashereh, not Ketav Ivri, since the earlier script was considered profane and riddled with paganism. After Moses broke the first set of tablets, however, God wrote the second set using the profane script. After the Babylonian captivity, Ketav Asheret was fully restored to the Jewish people by Ezra the scribe and came to be called later Lashon HaKodesh, the holy language. The same root has been used to this day for the writing of the Torah scrolls. Modern Soferet scribal arts include the Bet Yosef, Betlari, and Shepherd styles, Ketav Asheret for Sifrei Torah, and a Midrash and a Migdaval Baval. Tower of Babel teaches that at the end time all the people once again speak one language, and there will be purified form of the Hebrew tongue. There will also be Dirash on the verse, for then I will make the peoples pure of speech, so that they will invoke the Lord by name and serve him, all with one accord, and that indicates the same. Okay, here's some pictographs, Pro-Canaanite. Like other ancient writing systems, the Hebrew alphabet originally was written using a pictograph script. The Phoenician alphabet developed from the Proto-Canaanite alphabet, which was created sometime between the 18th and 17th centuries BC. The Proto-Hebrew script It's also called early Aramaic script. The key extant example of the Moabite stone. This was the Hebrew used by the Jewish nation up to the Babylonian exile, or according to Orthodox Jews until the exodus from Egypt. At the end of the 6th century BC, Katav Ivri was replaced by the Hebrew square script Katav Moruba. Then we have the Sumerian script. While the Jews adopted the Aramaic alphabet, the Samaritans held on to the original forms of the Proto-Hebrew, perhaps to show themselves the true heirs of Judaism. For this reason, Ezra chose the Aramaic square script, also called Katav Ashuri or Katav Oruba. And then after the Babylonian captivity, Katav Ashurat was adopted by the Jews under the leadership of Ezra and called Leshan HaKodesh. This was probably done to distance themselves from the Samaritanism. The Aramaic characters were chosen as the official script for the Torah scrolls in the 5th century BC. These were written as during the transitional period where both the older Katav Ivri script was used with Katav Ashurat. The classic Hebrew script was used for centuries before the time of the Messiah and has remained unchanged to this day. And here we have the modern Hebrew cursive. This derives from the Polish-German Jews. This is used in Israel today. The Rashi style is used mainly to commentaries on text. It is named in honor of the Rabbi Shlomo Yitzhaki, aka Rashi, was one of the great medieval Jewish scholars and biblical commentators. Here we have scholars often divide Hebrew language into 4 basic periods. The biblical Hebrew, which is classical Hebrew. By the time of Jesus, Aramaic was the common language, but Hebrew was used in synagogues and in temple worships. Jesus knew and spoke biblical Hebrew. Then we have Mishnah Hebrew, aka Rabbinic Hebrew, Talmud, and Midrash, 2nd century AD. Note that the grammar and the vocabulary of this Hebrew is very different than that of biblical Hebrew. Then medieval Hebrew, used to translate Aramaic words into Hebrew, Arabic words, into Hebrew. For example, the Maimonides and other medievalists. And then modern Hebrew, 19th century to present. Eliezer ben Yehuda led the rebirth of Hebrew as a spoken language. After immigrating to Israel in 1881, he began promoting the use of Hebrew at home and at the schools. Alright, a little bit of interesting info there. Go to this other site. It says Hebrew is a member of the Canaanite group of Semitic languages. It was a language of the early Jews, but from 586 BC started to be replaced by Aramaic. By 70 AD, use of Hebrew as an everyday language had largely ceased, but it continued to be used for literary and religious functions, as well as a lingua franca among Jews from different countries. During the mid-19th century, the first efforts were made to revive Hebrew as an everyday language. One man who played a major role in this effort was Eliezer ben Yehuda, who was the first to make exclusive use of Hebrew in his home, and encouraged the use of Hebrew among others as well as its use in schools. Today, Hebrew is spoken by some 5 million people in Israel, where it is an official language along with Arabic. And further, 2 to 3 million people speak the language in Argentina, Australia, Brazil, Canada, French, Germany, Palestine, West Bank, and Gaza, Panama, and UK, and USA. The Hebrew alphabet was the first alphabet used to write. Hebrew emerged during the late 2nd and 1st millennia BC. It closely resembles the Phoenician alphabet. The modern Hebrew alphabet was developed from the alphabet known as the Proto-Hebrew Early Aramaic. Notable features of it include type of writing system is abjad. Direction of writing is right to left in horizontal lines. The number of letters are 22 consonants plus final letters and diacritics. Used to write Hebrew, Judeo-Arabic, Ladino, Yiddish, and many other Jewish languages. Some letters, such as Kaf, Mem, Nun, Fe, and Zadi, have a final form, Sofit, which is used when they appear at the end of a word. There are no separate numerals in Hebrew. Instead, Western numerals 1, 2, 3 are used. Long vowels can be indicated by the letters Aleph, Vav, and Yad. Short vowels are not usually marked except in the Bible, poetry, and books for children and foreign learners. examples of it. Okay. And let's go to this last one here. It says the vast majority Hebrew language root words. The vast majority of words in Hebrew language can be boiled down to 3 consonant root words that contain the essence of the word's meaning. Even if you cannot read Hebrew, you will find that you can get some insight into the meaning of the Bible by identifying the root words. If you see the same English word in 2 different places, but different Hebrew words are used, this may indicate that there is a different shade of meaning. If the same Hebrew root is used in 2 different places, the words and their meaning are probably related. A substantial amount of rabbinical interpretation of the Bible is derived from the relation between root words. For example, the rabbis concluded that God created women with greater intuition and understanding than men, because man was formed while woman was built. The root built, Beret Nun He, is very similar to the root Binah, Bet Yald Nun He, meaning understanding, insight, or intuition. Similarly, a familiar Talmudic teaching notes that the similarity of the words Banyaka, your children, and Bon Yakir, your builders, suggests that Isaiah 15:31, and all your children builders will be students of God, and great shall be the peace of your children / builders, indicates that those who study Torah are the builders of peace. Hebrew words are formed from roots by changing vowels and by adding a wealth of prefixes and suffixes to that root. Prefixes can be prepositions, in, on, of, to, etc. Articles, the, or other things. Suffixes can be pronouns, he, you, are, etc. Possessives or can indicate gender and a number, female, singular, male, plural. Because of the way these prefixes and suffixes are added to the root, a single word in Hebrew might be translated in English into several words. For example, the first word of the Torah, Bereshit, is usually translated in the beginning. The root Resh Aleph Shin, which means head or first, is the same root as Rosh in Rosh Hashanah, first year, Jewish New Year. We add the prefix of Beret, a preposition meaning in, on, and a number of other things. The word the is implied. A more complicated example is the Hebrew word Shekhekeyanu, the name of a popular prayer recited on holidays and other times. The word Shekhekeyanu means who has kept us alive. The root of the word is Chet Yald He, a verb meaning to live. It is the same root as the Hebrew word for chai, meaning life or living, which you commonly see in Jewish jewelry and Jewish toast, l'chaim, to life. The shin prefix returns the verb into a noun indicating a person who does a thing. The next letter is he, which normally turns a verb into a causative form, has kept. The nun avav suffix is a first person plural pronoun. Thus, shehe chekalenyanu means who has kept us alive. Okay, so we have some more here. You can go through. Obviously, you can see there's a lot involved with this language, but certainly one way to begin to understand it is through the tarot. All of the 22 major arcana have a Hebrew letter assigned to them, and by understanding the card, the imagery, and the letter itself, it helps you understand what they're all about. So, again, everything ties in. Many of these things we're told we're not supposed to look at, but when we do look at them, we find that there's wisdom that we need to understand that teaches us more about our ancients, the past, what it is we need to understand. And we find that things were hidden from us intentionally to keep people dumbed down spiritually. Because you see, once a person, a being, has the spirit, the gift of life within them, their ability to evolve, it is there. Unless, of course, one removes that wisdom, the lessons on how to go about that. And that's certainly something that has been done. So as we remind ourselves of these important things in our history, and by looking at some of these ancient alphabets and ancient writings and so on, we remember a bit of who we are so that we can be more brings us to the next point, dealing with karma. How to remove past life karma through the universal law of wisdom. It's from Greg Prescott at In 5D. Do certain painful experiences, such as repetitive bad relationships, come into your life on a consistent basis? Is there anything that you have done in this lifetime that you have regretted because it may have hurt someone else? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then you will be able to finally cut off all the ties to past karmic relationships. All man-made laws are superseded by 20 universal laws, which keep us in harmony and balance. Within these laws, every action has a reaction, and through these counterbalances, we learn how to attain inner peace and harmony in accordance with these inner laws. Most people have some sort of karmic relationship with someone else, and in many cases with a lot of people. Before we incarnate to this planet, we create a soul contract in which we make agreements to heal past life karmic relationships. For example, if I was an abusive husband in my next lifetime, I would make a soul contract with my wife to come back and do it over again, but the next time around, I would be the wife who was being abused, and my wife would come back as the abuser. These type of contracts are made for the sole purpose of learning the repercussions of karma, and most importantly, learning from your past life mistakes. One must ask his or herself if this is the reason why there is child abuse. Is it a possible way that the abused child was the abuser in a previous lifetime? Was this part of their soul contract? When I was a young teen, I was hit with a strap before I went to school for something I did, which I honestly don't remember. Back then, this wasn't necessarily considered child abuse. I tried to escape getting hit, but the belt hit me across the back diagonally and left the mark there. On that day, I had a fourth period gym class, so in between third and fourth periods, I went to the men's room and noticed a strap mark was still on my back. I ended up skipping class because I was too embarrassed to let anyone see that mark. It was on that particular date I swore to myself that if I ever had children, I would never hit them. Have you ever heard the parents saying, "This going to hurt me a lot more than it hurts you," before they punish their child? This is most likely coming from a remembrance of when they made their soul contract with the child that they are about to punish, because we are on the other side of the veil. There is only unconditional love. It may be involved remembering through our cellular DNA what it was like in a past life to be the one who was being abused. As it turned out, I had a daughter whom I had never hit, and I had forgiven my parents who volunteered to teach me this lesson through our soul contracts. This is how you end karma. Is it possible that I was the abuser in a previous relationship? In my opinion, yes. Has the wheel of karma ended? Yes. While I would never approve of anyone under any circumstances, I completely understand why my parents had to hit me, and they have been forgiven as well. In retrospect, I'm grateful for the experience because I essentially volunteered to end the wheel of karma for all subsequent incarnations. It says this is how the universal law of wisdom works. Time and time again, we find ourselves in repetitive patterns and cycles, yet we keep making the same mistakes. The most important aspect of the universal law of wisdom is to release the other person from the wheel of karma by forgiving them with unconditional love. Not necessarily to the other person, but for the lesson learned and the experience, no matter how bad it may have been. Many people have had a hard time understanding this, especially in cases of child abuse. In the third dimensional reality, we all chose to experience duality and polarity. In some cases, it was especially cruel and inhumane. Why would someone choose to experience this? Before we incarnated here, we were on the other side of the veil, and the only thing we felt was unconditional love for one another. When we made our soul contracts, duality and polarity were long removed from our current state of unconditional love. Because of past life mistakes that we've all made, we decided to come back and experience these mistakes from other person's perspective. So we made a soul contract with that person to resolve these issues. At that time, it seemed like a great idea to finally put an end to the wheel of karma. But once we incarnated here, the pain from the lesson blinded us from the original loving intent we had when we made the soul contract, and inevitably created even more karma for those who did not learn from these lessons. It talks about past life regression. Is one way to do this. Dolores Cannon states people keep coming back to this incarnation over and over because they keep making the same mistakes. Karma is like molasses. You get stuck in it easily. If you ever make mistakes over and over again, well, it's time to release this negative karma. According to Cannon, the best way is to release the karma is through forgiveness. Alright, and it says If you've been through any bad relationship in your life, please consider releasing that person from your wheel of karma through forgiveness and unconditional love. This might be the hardest thing you have ever done in your life, especially if the relationship was abusive. Please keep in mind it is very possible that you were an abuser in a previous lifetime, and that you agreed to come back in this lifetime to finally end the cyclical relationship of abuse by taking the high road and ending the karma during this incarnation. Also, please remember that you don't necessarily mean that you need to unconditionally love the person who you had this relationship with, but to unconditionally love the lessons learned through these experiences, most importantly, to finally put an end to all karmic relationships with that particular person for each and every lesson you have to overcome. By using universal law of wisdom, you can finally put an end to all karmic relationships. So, when we have problems in life, there definitely is something we can do about it, because our problems don't just come from here and now, it comes from other times. Our life is kind of a whole experience that involves many lifetimes, dimensions, and so on and so forth. So it's kind of important that we look at it the whole picture rather than the little picture. Alright, that brings us to our message for today. This one is from Anna Merkaba, and it's dealing specifically with this Cardinal Grand Cross that we're experiencing.
Anna Merkaba, Quantum Leap Portal, the Cardinal Grand Cross.
April 23rd to 24th Pleiades.
The interdimensional flow of energy emanating through the central gravitation pull of the Earth's magnetic fields and the transgrational understanding of life force are in effect. The effect of the Grand Cardinal Cross with an overlay of the lunar solar eclipse have indeed created the energies facilitating the necessary, albeit at times cumbersome, and turbulent energies within the consciousness, subconsciousness, and transience of the human vehicle of time and space. And as such, the concurrent results shall open the doorway and gateways to allow the manifestation of all that you deem necessary to come to path within your structural reality, by merging the subatomic principles of the encoded DNA within your structure to reflect the DNA of the cosmic proportions. Upgrading your body to allow the full potential of that which you are, to shine through and allow you to manifest that which you wish to see in your known world. The interdimensional flow of energy emanating through the central gravitation pull of the Earth's magnetic fields and the transgrational understanding of life force are in effect. The effect of the Grand Cardinal Cross with an overlay of the lunar solar eclipse have indeed created the energies facilitating the necessary, albeit at times cumbersome, and turbulent energies within the consciousness, subconsciousness, and transience of the human vehicle of time and space. For through the forelore of your creator selves and the abilities that are hidden within the psychedelic nature of human species, within the structural hierarchy of times immemorial, lays the key to the eternal kingdom of grace, beauty, love, harmony, peace, health, unity, and unconditional understanding of self. Ankh Projecting. The Ankh Disc Key of Life. What this tool does is aligns you with your own self, helping you to experience life here on Earth and integrating your etheric self. This tool is known for activating the sacral chakra and releasing all the negativity in regards to intimacy and sex that is stored in your body, but not only this, but so much more. It also activates your psychic abilities, working on the sacral chakra, allowing you to become sensual and be able to attune yourself to the needs of others, helping you in building strong relationships with others. And on the day of the planetary alignment, the intergalactic pathway of creation and manifestation shall come to path. For the quantum leap of your creator selves shall realize its full potential and blast through your known understanding of self and the world in which you dwell. And as such, the concurrent results shall open the doorway and gateways to allow the manifestation of all that you deem necessary, to come to path within your structural reality, by merging the subatomic principles of the encoded DNA within your structure to reflect the DNA of the cosmic proportions. Upgrading your body to allow the full potential of that which you are, to shine through and allow you to manifest that which you wish to see in your known world. And so, the time is nigh and you are to utilize all that you have learned in the following months to come. For the road of your success and the road of plenty that you shall manifest for you own selves is wide open. For the obstacles that were shall be melted away in the months to come of your earthly understanding of time. And as such, the clearing away of the old paradigm and the welcoming of the new mentality on the conscious and subconscious levels shall occur without delay. When such manifestations comes to pass, for those of you who have put your wisdom, the wisdom of the ages that you have brought forth with you from other dimensions, other realities, and other timelines, other universes, and other galaxies prior to incarnation on planet Earth, shall be fruitful indeed. For the wisdom and the eternal truth that of your Creator selves, that you have brought with you encoded by your own higher consciousness into the subatomic structures of your human DNA shall become evident to the beholder. For those of you who have come to this planet to assist in the birthing of the new channels of understanding, the new consciousness if you will, shall begin to unfold readily. And so, it is of utmost importance that you gather all of your might and strength, all of your wisdom, and allow this wisdom to guide you, and allow this wisdom to manifest in your daily reality in order to assist you on your personal level of attunement to the newly found energies, in order to catapult your desired dreams into the utmost positive and fruitful outcome for all involved. Take heed of the truth of your own hearts, dearly beloved ones. Heed the truth of your own expectations of the grand unfolding of schemes that have and are and were and will be put forth by your own higher consciousness, your own higher selves, and your own understanding of being. Understand the powers that lay hidden deep within the wells of your being, understand supreme simplicity of that which you are. For all that is effortless is indeed complex, for all that is complex is indeed effortless. Know that you are supported by the incoming energies from the source and the creation of the divinity. Remember that which you are and allow your consciousness to expand without delay. Allow your consciousness to blossom and attune you to the magnificent energies bathing your soul in divinity, change, liberation, freedom, understanding, love, unity, and peace. That is all that we have for you now. We love you. We are with you. Goodbye for now.
Good message, understanding the change which is taking place. So go ahead and close your eyes now and take a deep breath. And exhale. Take another deep breath. And exhale again. And as you breathe, contemplate this affirmation for today. My path is completely clear of hurdles. My journey is enjoyable. And imagine yourself walking along a path and see the hurdles removed before you arrive at them. See the challenges that you face become easier and easily understood. Imagine as you look up to the cosmos, you see the universe showering down upon you energy from the planets and the stars that are moving in synchronistic ways in order to bring your life to the next manifestation of its evolutionary process. So just allow yourself to feel this energy as if you're standing under a wonderful shower. And you feel this energy of the universe washing through your body, washing through each of the chakras, cleansing your body, re-energizing you, helping you to understand more of what these energies are and how to deal with them most effectively. And just imagine the word love, and know that through all of these changes that go on, love is the one energy that we keep coming back to that helps make a difference in who we are and what we're about. So let's just see the planet Earth with the word love superimposed over it, and then just see this love melting into the earth, and see this love continuing to emanate up into the cosmos to the space brothers and sisters who are out there, that all may see, looking upon the planet, this bright glowing planet, a planet of love. So let's just hold that image of Earth as a place of love, a planet of love. And let's bring our conscious mind back to the present moment. 3, coming back to the present moment filled with confidence. 2, coming back to the present moment filled with faith. And 1, coming back to the present moment happy, healthy, and whole. Happy, healthy, and whole. Take another deep breath. Exhale and open your eyes. That's it, my friends. That's our show for today. Enjoy the experience of what is going on in the cosmos and the world around us. Take some time to allow your body to adjust to these energies and these changes, and then just roll with it. I'll be back tomorrow. Till then, have an awesome day, and I'll talk to you soon. Peace. I'm out of here.